Hi YouTube. So this is a second video I'm making as a follow-up to the first one I posted about 3 weeks ago. I received quite a bit of feedback and questions to that one, mostly from people around me, but also from the comments on YouTube. So I thought I'll say something about the issues that were raised and also try to answer some of your questions regarding the use of OBS in general, and also answer a couple of questions I got regarding how I use a green screen. So let me first address the problems some people experienced when trying to get the OBS virtual camera to work. Let me just switch to my screen here. The first thing you got to do is you have to use the correct version of Skype, otherwise it won't work. So when you go to the Skype website right here, you click on Download Skype, which then opens up this window, and then you got this blue button here, Get Skype for Windows. Now that's the one you want. If you click on the arrow here, it opens up and you can also get, it says Skype for Windows 10. Do not get that one, even though you may have Windows 10, because if you do, if you click on this one here, it will lead you to this place, the Microsoft Store, and give you the Skype app that comes in the store. That one will not work, so don't get that one. Instead, get the first one that we had here, Skype for Windows. That's the one you need. Then once you got that installed, also make sure you shut it down first and then restart it after you installed the OBS camera plugin. Then also make sure you always have the latest version of OBS and the plugin. So let me go there, the OBS website, and I showed you all this on the last video, so I won't go through this anymore. Just quickly, you follow the links to the forum, the resources, and then Studio plugins. And as you can see now, the latest virtual cam is 205. When I did the first video, the version was 204. Make sure you don't use that. They actually have a thing here on their website, right here, where they tell you to not use the 204 version anymore, and they direct you to the latest one right here. So once you got that, and let's say it still doesn't fix the issue, then another thing you can do is follow what they say here under how to install without installer. I have all these links to these websites down below the video, by the way, so you can easily get it. Try to install the direct show source manually by following these steps here. The example they have here lists the DLL file in the 32-bit program files directory, so you may have to go to the other one. Mine is not, my OBS is not installed here. It's installed in program files in the 64-bit folder, not the 32-bit folder. So you may have to just look where it is and then follow these steps, see if that helps, if that fixes the issue. Another thing they also mentioned down here under known issues is that you may have to register a dummy path, a device path, and they give two registry files here that you can run to install that, and the links are also down below. So try that, see if it works. Hopefully it'll fix your problem. However, if all you want to do is just have a little fun during your Skype conversations by switching out the backgrounds, you don't need OBS at all, because Skype has that feature built in already. Let me show you. So I'll have to shut off my camera here for a moment and restart it in Skype settings. Otherwise you won't be able to see what I want to show you. So let's go here to audio video and wait for the camera to come on. There it is. And here I am sitting in front of a fake background, obviously, in Skype. So Skype allows you to change your background right here. It says choose background effect. So you can upload your images right down here. Okay, and Let's add one, this one for instance, and then Skype puts them right here and you can kind of cycle through them the way you like. However, as you can tell, the chroma key filter that's built into Skype is not as good as the one in OBS. And you can see that by the green areas here around my ear. Let me change this to black so you can see this better. This, however, is not entirely Skype's fault. It also has to do with the fact that I do not have proper lighting in my office. So let me just show you what it really looks like. So this is my green screen, and what I have is a light source coming from over here, which is my window, and then there's one up on the ceiling that kind of shines down on the green screen. This is not good, really, but it works fine with OBS. OBS can key out the background quite good with the lighting here that I have. Skype obviously cannot. Ideally, what I should do is get a light source to illuminate the green screen properly so it's evenly lit, and then have another light source shining on me, and that would be much better, and probably I would have better results in Skype as well in keying out the background. But as I said, if all you want to do is just have a little fun here while you're on a Skype call, this may be all you need. Now, there's one thing you can do to make it a little better to eliminate these areas, and that's get rid of all the little corners. Like, as you can see right now, this is just showing up around my headset. So if I take off the headset, then the green will disappear. I've got to keep talking into my mic here. So you can see now the green aura is still there a little bit. Let's go to black. But if I have a picture that's more like this one here, it almost looks perfect, right? If I don't move a lot, then the chroma key effect is pretty good. Okay, so let's go back to OBS though. So here I am again, running my camera with the chroma key filter in OBS, and as you can tell, it's a lot better than in Skype. Let me just turn off or give you here a black background, and as you can see, there's hardly any green shining through here, even though my setup is exactly the same as it was for what I showed you in Skype. So let's get to some of the more general questions about OBS. One of the first ones I received was, what about the irritating and confusing look? Well, OBS, when you record a video with OBS, like the one you're watching right now, OBS will always record whatever source is active at the moment. So let's say I want to record my monitor. Let me switch to my monitor here, like so. And now OBS records my monitor and everything that's in it, including the OBS program itself. So the confusing look or irritating look comes when you enable the preview, which looks like this. And it becomes even more confusing if you go full screen. Now all of a sudden you see yourself, infinite number of times, including your screen, and you don't quite know where to look and where to click if you're not used to this. So the way it works is, of course, if you enable the preview, then each smaller window is a preview of the previous preview, if that makes sense. And if that irritates you, you can just disable the preview like this and do your recording without the preview. I usually keep it on because it helps me to see what the layout is and what the final video is going to look like. So let's have a brief look at how OBS works. What you need to know if you make a video with OBS, that OBS organizes everything in scenes over here and in sources. So every scene is a collection of sources. So once you loaded all your sources over here and you arrange them in the way you want, then you can save that layout as one of your scenes. And once you have saved several scenes, this will then allow you to quickly switch between scenes without having to rearrange the layout every time. So for example, right now I'm in my monitor scene over here monitor pip, and that has three sources. I got my camera here, and I have my monitor 1 and my second monitor as a source. Now let's say I want to switch back to Skype and have me kind of not over in the corner, but more in the middle of the screen. Then instead of pushing myself around here and making myself big and changing the background and all that, I can just, okay, let me put that back the way I was. Instead of doing that, rearranging everything, all I have to do is change my scene where I have that layout already set up the way I want. So if I go to my main scene, here I am sitting in front of my bookshelf in my office. And so I can do recording this way, and if I want to switch to my monitor to show something, then I just switch the scene over here and it will change the sources as well. Okay, so let's have a look at the sources and see how they work. For each scene that you create over here, you can have or add as many sources as you like on this side. And once you've added all your sources that you want, that you would like to use in one of your scenes, then you can start organizing them in the order that you would like to use them. Now that's important because sources work like layers, which means that the source that's on top right here will always be displayed first and cover everything that follows below. So let me illustrate that by switching over here to my main scene. Okay, here I am sitting in front of my bookshelf in my office, and as you can see, I got three sources turned on right now. Actually, I have four. The monitor is also running. But you can see me first because the camera is right up here. So layer number one, then comes the office, followed by a frame. Now you cannot see the frame because it's being covered up by the office right now. So if I want to make the frame visible, I'll grab it and just move it up one level in front of the office, and now here it is. So now you can really see how these layers work. The top layer is the camera, which is me. So I'm in front of everything else, and then comes the frame, which is in second position, and in the background you can see the office in third position. So let's say I want to move myself inside the frame, then all I got to do is grab the frame here and push it into the first top position, and all of a sudden here I am talking to you from inside the frame. So if at some point I don't want to use the frame anymore, I can just turn off that particular source by clicking this little eye icon here, like so, and then it's gone. This also allows me to quickly switch between sources with the little eye icons. Let's say I want to switch quickly from my office in the background to my monitor, then I turn my monitor on down here and I turn off the office up there. And as soon as I do that, then the next active layer in line will become visible. All right. So that's how these sources work as layers. Okay, so let's create some brand new scenes and sources from scratch. And in order to do that, we'll go back to what OBS looks like right after when you first install it. So to do that, I will first have to delete all these scenes and sources here, and then we can have a clean start. Let's see if I can select all them and say remove. Sure, yep. Okay, they're all gone. Remove this one, remove my main one. So I'll remove the sources here. Okay, so here we are with a blank screen, and you can't see me anymore. So let's start creating some scenes and sources. So since OBS can do absolutely nothing without sources, let's add those first. OBS gives you 13 different types of sources right here that you can add. Oops. So let's add my monitors first. I'll go to display capture, call this monitor 1. By the way, this part of the video I am recording with a different screen recorder. Otherwise, I couldn't be showing you how I'm setting up OBS. Unfortunately, this screen recorder is really low quality, so you'll probably get some pixel distortion in this part of the video. So don't be bothered by that. Okay, so here's my display that I want to add, 1920 by 1080. So I'll add that one. By the way, this is what I use because if you go up here to File and Settings, I'm going to set up my video here. So this is what I'm using as my base canvas, 1920 by 1080, at 16:9 ratio. The scale filter, I want to use this one. That's the best. This one is obviously no good here, so I may have to re-record this. Let's go to 24 and apply that. Okay, let's add my other monitor here. Display capture, monitor 2. And this one is actually physically smaller than my first one. It's only 1600 by 900. And there it is. Okay, as you can see, this is doesn't fill the entire work area, so I have to drag it to make it fit. And then let's add some images here. I'll add the cabin right there. I have to rename that. Call it cabin. And let's add some more images. I'll add my office here. That's 78 degrees. I'm going to copy that so I don't have to retype the name. Okay, I'm going to rename that first. Office 78 degrees. And as you can see, this is my source here is larger than my screen, my work area, my base canvas. So I have to drag this and make it fit. Obviously, I could have just changed the resolution of this background picture before I import it, then it would fit perfectly, but I didn't do that. So I'll add my office again, this time with a 90-degree viewing angle. And that's right here. Okay, same thing again. It's the source picture is too large, so I have to drag it to make it fit. Oops. All right, here we go. So that's 90, and this is 78. Let's add my camera, video capture device right here. So I have the Logitech Brio. Gonna add that. All right, here I am. And I don't like the default resolution, which is up here in the corner. As you can see, it's quite small. So I'm going to change the resolution to 1920 by 1080, which is what I do. Okay, and so here I am filling the entire canvas. Let's add a media source. I'll call this beach window. So this is one of my favorite backgrounds that I like to use when I Skype, and that's right here. Add that. Okay, here's the beach window. And let's see, what else could we add just for the fun of it? Let's add a text that I can flash. So I'll just call this just text, and we'll write something in here and change the color. Let's make it red. Okay. All right, so now here we have a text. I think that's enough for now. So let's try to make those sources work the way we want them to. So as you can see, this text is way too large. It's going off the canvas, so I have to actually make this smaller and drag it back in. Okay, so let's say I want to flash a text during my video later and right down here, so I'll position it right here and then I'll turn it off with this little eye icon. Okay, next thing is the beach window, which is not correct either because I can't hear the waves. I don't know if you can hear them right now while this is recording. So in order for me to hear the waves, by the way, so if you add a source that has its own audio, then it will show up here in the audio mixer. So if I turn the beach window off, then watch this here disappear. Okay, so now it's gone. If I turn it back on again, here you have the audio for the beach window, and you can change it here. So in order for me to hear this, I have to right click on here and go to Advanced Audio Properties, and here's my beach window, and I want to monitor that sound. So I'll turn this on right here. Now I can hear the waves, and I can adjust the sound of the volume right here. Okay, let's turn that off. The Brio camera, let's see, everything else is fine, I think. The office is good. Office 78 is good. The cabin is good. And the monitors are K2, so I've tried that before. So let's do the camera here. I'll have to add some filters in order to key out the background. So I'll go here, add the Chroma Key first, and there it is. You can adjust this here depending on your lighting and your setup. You can change these, play with these settings here to make sure it just keys out nicely. So for me, the defaults work fine actually. Why are they not working? Okay, let's open that up again and go to defaults. All right, that's better. Okay, now the next filter I want to add is the crop filter because I need to crop away the edges here around me. So I'll start on the left side with 300. That's pretty good. And the right side I'll do, which is a bit larger, so I'll do 350. Yep, that works. I still have this little corner back here. And from the top, I'll try 250. That's not enough. So let's try 280. That's better. Okay, so now I'll fine tune this here. I'll pull in the right side. I'll just keep until the corners disappear. So I guess that's good enough from the right side. And the one up here I'll take out with the top, cropping the top. So let's get rid of the left corner down there. That's pretty good right here. And I'll have to get rid of these two edges up here on the top, these two corners. So I'll just keep moving this until it just fits nicely. Okay, so here I am. This looks good. Now I can key out the background. So let's turn the chroma key back on again and close that. And here I am up here. Okay, so I'm switching back now to recording with OBS again because it's just better quality, the video is. As you can see, the lighting conditions have changed when I did the first part of the video. So let me turn on a little light here, see if my face gets a little bit better. Yeah, like this. All right, so the nice thing with OBS, by the way, is that you can add the same source multiple times. So for instance, my camera here, I just added it with a green screen. I could add the same source again, let's say with a blue screen, which would then allow me to key out. I could then wear a green shirt, for instance, right? Which I can't do right now because I have a green screen. Well, let me just show you this because that was also one of the questions that I got. Was, well, when do you use a blue screen? When do you use a green screen? Well, I use a blue screen when green screen doesn't work. So outside, often if I want to key out certain areas, like an outside shot where you have green bushes in the background or so, then sometimes I would use a blue screen if I want to preserve some of those green bushes. Otherwise, they'd all be keyed out, right? Or here in the office, my green screen works really good because usually that's the kind of stuff I wear. If I wear anything green, then that would be keyed out. It wouldn't work. So I have this t-shirt here I'm going to show you where I have the little Android on here. So let me just turn this off here so you can see. Okay, so here's my little Android fixing the Apple here. It's green. There it is. So if I turn on the chroma key, then of course this area gets keyed out, right? Which puts a hole in me. So now you can see the books in my bookshelf behind me. So in this case, if I, let's say, my whole shirt were green, then I would have to I would have to use a blue screen, and in order for that to work. The next thing to do is rearrange your sources the way you want to use them. That's a good idea usually, so you can switch smoothly between them without having to fiddle with all this. So for example, let's say I wanted to switch right now to my monitor number 1. It's already running here, as you can see, but if I turn off the Office right here, then it goes to my monitor number 2 first. So I have to turn off that one as well. Now I'm on my monitor number 1. So in order to make that more smoothly, I just push it up here, right? Well, let's push it all the way up right after my Office. So now, as soon as I turn off my 90-degree Office, let's put this one on, then the 78-degree one comes on, I turn that one off, then the monitor comes on, and so forth. Okay, one more thing about the beach window here that I forgot to add, or to say. So the beach window is a media source, right? A video with audio. That's a very short clip, of course, so if I turn that on, then it will cycle through different windows, and then the video will just stop and go blank. And in order to avoid that, you click on Properties and enable this checkbox right here, Loop, and now the beach window is going to be on a loop. So if you have it running for a long time, it'll just repeat itself. Okay, that's pretty much all there is to say right now for the sources. So let's add some scenes. I want to have a Skype scene, so I'll just call that, get rid of my caps lock here, Skype. Okay, so now we need to add sources again. This time, however, we do not have to import them because I already imported all the sources. So I can just use an existing source, like right here. I'll add my camera. Okay, there I am. And I also want to add a background. Oops, that was wrong. I didn't want to add another scene. I wanted to add another source. So I'll add an image and add my office existing at 78 degrees. And let's say I also want to add, okay, this is too big again. So I have to drag it to make it fit. Still too large. Okay. Oops. Here we are. Okay, I'll add it again as 90 degree with a 90 degree viewing angle. Again, way too big. Let's make it smaller. Okay, so now I can switch between 90 or 78 degree viewing angle of my office. All right, so now I have to rearrange myself, let's say right here. Okay, and so this is usually the kind of the layout I want for Skype. I'll add another scene called monitor. So let me move myself out of the way here. So I'm going to add a new scene called monitor. Okay, I'll call it monitor pip because I want myself as a talking head in the corner. So pip, picture in picture. All right, I'm going to add that, and everything goes black again, so let's quickly add the monitor so you can see what I'm doing here. All right, there we are. Monitor 1 is added, so now I have to add the camera again to this scene. Video capture device, add Brio. Okay, here I am. Now, obviously, I don't want myself right in the middle here, like when I talk on Skype, but I want myself, if I want to show something on my monitor, I want myself over here in the corner as a little talking head, maybe like this. Okay, so now what you're seeing is me in my office in front of my bookshelf, and let's say I want to quickly switch to show you something on my monitor. All I have to do is change the scene right here, and there I am. And so you can have multiple scenes here with different sources, and that's really nice. It allows you to maneuver quickly between all the things you want to do and show in your video. Okay, so let's just do two more things that I want to show you before I finish off this video here. Let's say you work a lot with, you want to make a video where you work with multiple screens and you're pushing stuff back and forth. Let's say I have two screens here and I want to drag this one over here to show you something. Then for you, it always looks like I'm looking the wrong way because my monitor, my second monitor is to my right, so I'm looking over here. But of course, on the video, it looks the opposite. And it's kind of weird if I look over there and say, I'm going to get something from over here and pull it over. So what you can do there is, if you have a lot of that kind of movement in your video, just flip your camera. So right click on your camera, go to transform and flip horizontal. Okay, now I'm the other way around, too far in the corner. So now when I say, okay, I'm going to drag something over here from my other monitor, then it actually looks like you can actually see that I'm looking at in the direction where I'm dragging the window from, and now I'm putting it back. All right, so that's what you can do, what that is good for. If you ever wondered why on earth would somebody want to flip their image, that's the reason, just so it looks right for people. Also, sometimes you point, you know, I say click the button up here on my to the right or click it up here to the left, but that of course is opposite for you. So if I want to make that look right for the viewer, then you just flip your image of your camera. Okay, so lastly, let's add a PowerPoint. Let's say you want to show a PowerPoint on your in your video and comment on it with a little talking head down in the corner. Then this is how you do it. I have a PowerPoint on my second monitor, so let me just show you that. So here it is over there. In order to add a PowerPoint for video that you then comment with your little talking head, you got to run it. So I got to play it from the beginning here. All right, that didn't work as you saw. It's because I have it in presenter mode, and that'll cover up my first monitor, which I don't want. So I have to change that, get rid of the presenter view here. Okay, and run it again. Now it's running here on my second monitor. So I'll go back to my first monitor now. And I'm going to add this PowerPoint now as a new source. So what we do here is go to Windows, Window Capture. I'll just call this PowerPoint. And now it gives me the option here what I want to capture, either the the actual PowerPoint or the presentation. So I'm going to pick the presentation, obviously, and say OK. Now I have to enable the preview so I can arrange it properly on my screen, otherwise I won't see. So this is a little too small, so I'm going to make this bigger here. Make sure it comes in second place to my camera, and here we are. So now I can actually be down here in the corner and cycle through my PowerPoint and explain stuff on the video. Okay, so that's basically how this works, and that's it. So I hope I answered all the questions. and hope this video helps. If there's any more, just let me know, leave something in the comments, and I'll try to make another video if there's any more questions that people want to know about. All right, that's it. Have a good day. Bye for now.